Alright, I'm going to now teach you how to record on the DigitalPortastudio DP-02 by Tascam. Alright, so we're going to create a song. We're going to hit song here. We're going to scroll down using the data scroll to create and hit yes/enter. We're going to name this demo. So up here's our song title. We're going to zoom in here and get our characters settled. So we use the cursors left and right to navigate through the characters left to right. The up cursor is going to insert a character, and the down arrow is going to delete a character. So we're going to name this demo here. Once we get to these numbers and stuff at the end, we're just going to hit the down arrow and delete them and just leave it at 4 letters. Excuse my being slow here, but so here we're going to delete those. There we go. So I'm just going to zoom back out here and show you that, again, here's the data scroll, and then these are the cursors. So those are how you're going to go back and forth or insert or delete using the up and down. Here's our yes/enter button. So we're going to press that to confirm. So I'll zoom in and press yes, and it is going to create a song. So there. Now that is created, so we're going to move on and get to recording. Alright, so I'd like to talk really quickly about my setup here. My setup to begin recording, and my setup as far as the board itself goes, what we need to do first. So, obviously, turn the board on with your power button here. We've created a song, which I showed you a minute ago, but then we need to get an instrument. So, this 1/4 inch cable up here going in input A, the 1/4 inch side, is going to my piano. It is in the left input, which is mono. And I'll talk more about mono and stereo in a second. But most pianos have a mono option, which is on the left typically, or you can do a left and right stereo, which would take input A and B, and you would record to 2 tracks stereo and pan left and right later in post. So, we also need, after we have our instrument, we also need a way to hear ourselves. There are RCA inputs in the back that can be utilized if you'd like to hook it up to a stereo system or studio monitors. But a good way to start out is to use headphones. These are the Audio Technica M40Xs. Love these headphones. They do a great job. So that's what we've got as far as setting the machine up. Now let's talk about setting up to record. So as I mentioned, we've got a piano coming in on the mono output of the piano, which is left, and we've got it coming into input A. So this is your input assigned key for channel A. So we're going to press and hold this, and you notice that nothing down here is happening. That's not what we want. We want this to make a button down here flash, which means that this is assigned to something. So if you notice, this little light there starts to blink when we hold this. So we want it to blink in conjunction with one of these, which it is assigned to. So we're going to assign to input 1. So we're going to press and hold the assigned key, and we're going to tap input 1. Now you see the input 1 is now flashing, which means it is assigned to input 1. So whatever comes through this channel is going to come to input 1. But before we record, we have to arm the track. So now it is blinking by itself. So arming the track just tells the recorder that we want to record to this track, so we don't have any accidental mess ups where we record over our data. So once you're done recording, turn that off so you don't accidentally record over it. So we have our input assigned, we have our input armed, our channel armed to be recorded onto. We have to set a level, which I kind of pre-checked, and I'm thinking about 75, right about there, 75%. It's pretty good. Obviously, there are overload or clip meters. We want to check our input, but my piano's across the room, so you'd normally want to check your input. You'll be able to see input levels here on the screen popping up. A and B, and then during playback it'll show on your channel and your master what your volumes are, so you can avoid clipping, which is going to distort the audio. So now that we've talked about assigning our input to a track, setting our gain so that we're not clipping at our loudest point in the song, we've got an instrument in, the instrument's going through. We want to turn our track volume, track fader, up to unity, and we want to turn our master fader up to unity. Okay, so we're almost there. Now the only thing left to discuss is this little button right here. This is the input mode key, and I believe I've been asked about this before. But I did not know till a few minutes ago either, because I never read the manual. But this key says if on this side left is mono times 2, and on this side is stereo, which should be a left and right channel. So we know that mono is a source that is right down the middle of the sound field, but stereo is a left and a right, and everything in between that sound field. So what this is talking about is not actually going to affect the recorded signal, but it affects the monitoring signal. So if you leave it on mono times 2, I should hear whatever I'm recording in both headphones. If you put it in stereo, then input A will be sent to the left headphone, and input B will be sent to the right. Now, like I said, this does not affect your recording, but it affects playback in your stereo system or your headphones, which can be misleading because you'll only hear it in one side and you'll be confused. So I like to keep it in mono times 2 for my monitoring, so that I don't get confused as to what I'm actually recording. In this instance, I'm only recording a mono signal, so it helps to have it in mono as far as monitoring goes, so that I can hear that, and I can hear it on both headphones, and it doesn't kind of trip me out and make me think I'm not recording correctly. If you put it in stereo, I would only hear that in the left headphone over there, which is going to be weird. So I'm going to leave it over here in mono times 2 so that we can hear that piano out of both sides. A good application for stereo would be if I decided to use the left and right stereo outputs out of the piano instead of just the left mono. Then I could put it in stereo, and the mixer would automatically pan left and right the piano and record onto 2 tracks. Then A would be on track 1, B would be on track 2. So, hopefully I explained that well. Let's get to recording. So, we've talked about getting an input in, we've talked about setting the gain and assigning it to the channel, we've talked about turning the channel and the master volumes up. All we need to talk about is how to record. So, very simple. Once you've got all this set up, you've got input coming in, you're on, which I forgot to switch that back, but you're on mono times 2. All we got to do is press the record and play button together, and you'll see that they both light up, and that means that we're recording. So I'm going to stop this. You can stop it right here, and then to rewind to the beginning, we hit stop and rewind, and that takes us back to the beginning. So now I am going to go record something, and be right back with you. So we have recorded. So to listen back, all we're going to do is press the play button. Okay, so that was it. To rewind again, we press the stop and rewind button, and we're back to the beginning. If we wanted to record again, another take, if you wanted to record over this, then you would leave it just as it is. Go back to the beginning and record again. If you wanted to record a new track, be sure first to turn that off, so that we do not record over this, because if that is blinking and as that is channel 1 is armed, then you're going to record over that. So we want to turn that off. We would bring up our next track. If we want a different instrument, we need to plug that in, and then we need to assign the channel that we plugged it into to the next track over, and then we would need to set the gain for that instrument. So if we wanted to do another pass with a different piano part, or say you want to use an instrument on your piano, like a violin or something, you would then press and hold your assign button. You see it's still flashing on channel 1. You would unassign it from there. Now it is not. And you would assign it to channel 2. Now it's on channel 2, so piano is going to channel 2. You would then arm the track and record again. So then you keep layering them up until you filled up all your channels, and that's it. So if you have any questions, please comment. I haven't been good at it before, but I'm really trying to get into the YouTube thing, in case you haven't noticed. So I'm really going to try to answer questions, and I'll try to make some more videos on this, as well as get into Logic, because I would like to show how versatile Logic is. I have moved far away from this into the realm of digital softwares, dolls. So more to come. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you got any questions about this thing, and I will try my best to keep it up to date.